Alright, let's continue my quest to find the worst video game system ever made. And here we have the... what even is this thing called? It's just called the 2.4 gig wireless controller gamepad. Doesn't have any more designation than that. That's it. That's all you get. It's not like called the Ultra Super System HD thing or whatever. It's just called the 2.4 gig wireless. That's it. Professional game chip, Connect TV, classic games, and double rocker controller. Ooh. Wait a second. The top of the box is exactly the same as the front of the box. It's literally exactly the same, just shrunk it down just a little bit. Huh. Here we have the back. This actually is somewhat informative. Mecha design elements, like Robotech Mecha? Highlight sunken text. That's a feature. Charging interface. Well, you know, we gotta have a charging interface, otherwise, what's the point? Wireless transmitter. TF? What's TF? And LED signal display lamp. Well, again, that's kind of important. Product features. Double handheld. Support 10 simulators. Open source system and dual players. I'm trying to remember when they renamed emulators to simulators, but whatever. TV HD output. Support HDM connection to TV game synchronization operation. I love how they throw out these words to make it sound cool. This device has no built-in game content. Users need to install it by themselves. Users should pay attention to copyright of the content during installation if the disputes or other responsibilities caused by copyright have nothing to do with our company. Oh, that's the best. So basically, this thing has no games on it. You have to go out and get the games yourself. And this company bears no responsibility for any illegal activities that you do. Could have just said it that way. Let's go ahead and open up the box here and see what we got. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so, whoop, there we go. This is the stick that sticks into your television set. There we go. Take that thing off of there. And you got your regular HDMI connector there, which is nice. Can't stand it when they give you those little micro HDMI connectors. Just give me the regular one. We have a standard USB port here, and I guess it's a micro USB port there. On the side we have, we actually have a memory card here on the side. So yeah, they give you a little 64 gigabyte micro SD card. See how well it fits back in. Oh man, it does not fit nicely. And it doesn't want to lock in there. There we go. Nothing on the bottom, nothing on the side. Alright, there you go. There's your whole game system right there. And then this is apparently the wireless transmitter for the controller. I presume that goes into this side over here. I mean the back. Yeah, there we go. This is probably what that USB port is for. So you have to stick that in there. It never goes in the right way, right? The first time. Oh my gosh, it's very tight. Get in there. Alright, so that's a kludge. So inside the box, they surprisingly give you a couple of controllers that kind of mimic a PlayStation, I guess more like a PlayStation 2 controller. Feels really cheap and light. There's not a whole lot of weight to it. Feels like it might break in my hand at any moment. Notice it does not have the standard PlayStation arrangement of the symbols on here. It's got the X, Y, A, B letters on here instead. You got your select, you got your start, got your mode, got your triggers up here. How do we power this thing? Is there a connector? Oh, there's an on and off button down here. Apparently, you have to put batteries in it. Wait, let me turn that upside down. Apparently, you have to put batteries in it. And they're AAAs, which I don't even know if I have any AAAs handy. Alright, let's compare this to a real PlayStation 2 controller. Oh man, it just feels so much more sturdy than this thing. Ugh, this thing feels like it's just going to float away like a character from a Harry Potter movie. Same layout of the buttons, same triggers and all that good stuff. Of course, the Sony controller is wired, so I mean, that's a total knock against that, right? The control feels pretty cheap. The analogs, they look about right and they feel about right. I don't know how well they work. I honestly would be surprised if they worked well at all. And then you got your really mushy triggers up here. Alright, what else we got in the box here? Looks like we got a little chintzy manual here telling you what to do. And we got a HDMI. What is this? Oh, okay. It's just a regular HDMI connector. And then we got this USB cable. I presume this is for power, so you're not going to get a brick with this. You're going to have to get your own power brick. Alright, let's take a look at the instruction manual, the important instruction manual. The appearance view. Okay. Hardware description. HDMI output, mic power support, mic, there's a mic, handle interface, wired handle, wireless handle, okay. Main menu function. List all the games in the folder displayed on this page and up and down select page turning. Okay, basically just how to select your game. History. After playing, the game record will be in this interface. Search. Filter game according to game name uppercase letters. Note. Case insensitive. Ooh. Okay, settings. Why am I even reading this? I can just pull this up on the system. Hey, at least it's got Atari. That's all that matters, right? All external files, audio, video games, pictures, etc. must be deleted immediately after the demonstration. So after I play the game, I have to delete it immediately? The company will not take any responsibility for this. Boy, these guys are really worried about getting sued or something, aren't they? Children between 0 and 14 years old need to be accompanied by an adult to use this product. 0 age? Anyway, there's your manual. All right, let's give this thing a try, shall we? Here we are in the console itself, and it defaults into this Neo Geo screen here. Well, see, that's a Street Fighter 3, but that's just Street Fighter Alpha 2. But let's try that. This looks like to be a European ROM. All right, I changed my screen to just scan, and unfortunately, it just comes up all stretched out. So if I hit the select button on the controller, it adds tokens, and then start. Oh gosh, come on, jump! Oh my gosh, she's kicking my butt. It's hard to move with this controller. Really need more of a fight stick for this kind of game. It's very hard to pull off the moves, and it may just be the controller, but I think there's a huge amount of lag in this as well. All right, so if I hit the mode button, it brings me into this menu, which I can either resume, restart, do a save slot or save state, load a state, change the controls, or quit the game. I prefer to quit the game. Now, if I hit the trigger buttons, it takes me over to the different console selections. As you can see, we've got MAME and Famicom and Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. Boy, there's a lot of Game Boy on here. Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, and Lonely Atari down here in the bottom corner. We'll go ahead and try that. There's only a few games on here, some 2600 and 7800 games. Kind of an interesting selection here. They just randomly grab like 20 games and throw them on here. Let's try pole position 2. Well, it's nicely loads fast anyway. Of course, I'm not crazy about the widescreen view, but I'm going to change that on the TV here. Oh, right as I crash into the sign. There we go. 4:3. That's the more appropriate aspect ratio for this game. Oh, I blew up my car again. Okay, let's jump out of here. All right, let's try Famicom. That would be Nintendo. Let's try good old Super Mario Brothers. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a huge amount of lag. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. It's about a half a second between the time I press the button and the time that Mario jumps. It's really bad. Almost unplayably bad. I mean, actually, it probably is unplayably bad. I try to hit that block and I jump right past it. Yeah, no, this is bad. Now we got some other interesting settings here I wasn't even aware of. Keytone settings. I guess you can turn the sound effects down. Factory setting. System information. Okay, there's release 2.0. All right, let's see what's on Game Boy. Donkey Kong, but it's not called Donkey Kong here. Oh, at least it's in color. Ooh, the sound is all jacked up. I don't know if the lag is as bad or if I'm just anticipating it, but at least I could jump over those barrels. So if I wanted, I could do a save state. Oh, and then can I reload it? Yep, it just automatically loads back into that original spot again. So I guess that's a good thing. What other kind of games do we have on here? Double Dragon, Super King Kong. Oh, that's Donkey Kong Land 1 and 2. I don't understand why the names are not right. And sometimes they are, and sometimes they're totally wrong. Contra Advance, the Alien Wars EX. I think all these ROMs that are on here are Japanese ROMs, which kind of sucks because I can't read them. I have no idea what's on the screen right now. Let's try Mega Drive. Flying Bat Kid. That's Arrow the Acrobat. Destruction of the Army's Alliance. Deadly Killer. Deadly Killer 2. Death Pinball. Magic Bubble Rumor. What the heck? None of these names match up with the actual games. But I'm dying to see what Deadly Killer is. Oh, it's Lethal Enforcers. Okay, yeah, sure, that makes sense. Yeah, no, you eat lead. Wait, where's my gun? I can't shoot. Is this really like set to use the justifier? Because I can't shoot with this non-gun here. I must have picked the justifier. What is Winged Warrior? That's something I don't recognize. Wings of War. I still don't recognize it though. Oh, the lag is so bad. Oh my gosh. And you can hear how it's stuttering. I wonder if there's a way to like upgrade the emulators on here. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, crystals. Oh, what the? Oh, it's kind of cool. I might have to play this on a real Genesis. Let's do Super Famicom. Let's see if there's anything in here worth playing. Super Castle Uwania 4. Not only do you have like ActRaiser 2, but you got ActRaiser Europe, ActRaiser France, ActRaiser Germany, ActRaiser Japan, ActRaiser USA Arcade, and then ActRaiser USA. So, I don't know which ActRaiser to play. There's just so many redundant ROMs on here. Best thing to do probably would just be delete them all and put the ROMs on that you want to play. But then again, the emulators on here pretty much sucks. All right, let's try Batman Returns. Yeah, take that, clown. Yeah, eat Bat Fist. Why are there trash cans just sitting here in the middle of the street? Nothing more satisfying than punching clowns dressed up as a winged vigilante. And then lastly, let's try some PlayStation 1 games. Be surprised if this could do anything. Let's try Wipeout. Okay. I don't think this is Wipeout. Oh, what in the world? Again, it's in Japanese. I have no idea what I'm doing here, but this is definitely not Wipeout. Okay, let's try something else. How about Pepsi Man? Wait a second. American Pool? Is this really going to play Pepsi Man when I start the game, or what's going to happen here? No, it looks like it's real pool. Oh, and the music is all janked up. Yeah, slam that ball. Hit it really hard. Oh. Oh, well, the computer's just going to ace me this whole match, so let's move on to a different game. That was definitely not Pepsi Man. Try a different game. How about Tekken 3? What? Back to this again? This weird Japanese game that I have no idea what it is. I want to play Tekken, not this. How about Tekken 2? It doesn't even load. How about just Tekken 1? Nope, that doesn't load either. Okay, so far I'm not impressed at all with the PlayStation games. How about G Darius? That's a simple shooting game. Here we go, back to this again. How about Tomb Raider 3? Oh no, it's this American Pool again. So basically there's two games on this PlayStation collection and they're all fake. None of these are different.
It's either that weird Japanese game or the pool game. Okay, now, yeah, see, every one of these games is just these two games. Toy Story action game. Let me guess. Oh, we got something different now. I'm playing Galaga while this game's loading, whatever it is. Push start for Tekken. Oh, did we find Tekken? Okay. This is Toy Story. Oh my gosh. This is this is bad. So slow. And laggy. And there's no music, which I don't even know if this version of the game has music. Well, yeah, I lost when I bought this whole thing. All right, so definitely PlayStation is a bust. I'm gonna see if I can put some more of my own ROMs on here and see if that makes a difference. At least I'd have the American versions of the games.
Alright, so I've gone ahead and hooked up the flash card back into my computer, and then here you can see the folders that are on there. If we go into ROMs, you can see all the different folders that they put in there and all the crappy ROMs that they have, which isn't not a lot. And then if we go into this image folder, IMG, you'll see a replication of all the different folders here. And if you go in there, then you get all these screenshots. And these are basically what they use to show part of the, what the game is there inside the interface. Although I'm not really sure how that matches up with the ROMs, because look at these file names. They're just a bunch of numbers and letters. I mean, like, how does OAF46 yada 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 08F match up with Pitfall the Beyond the Jungle for the Game Boy Color? So I'm probably going to lose that ability once I clean all this up. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is just get rid of all these. I'm going to put my own ROMs in here. Same thing with Game Boy Color. I'm just going to delete them all. I mean, most of these games are Japanese anyway, so they're not doing me much good. Plus, I really don't care about Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and that kind of stuff. Just nuke it all. Of course, I don't know if any of these MAME ROMs are going to work. Oh my gosh, there's 5,253 MAME ROMs in here. Oh man. Mega Drive. Alien War. Some of these names are kind of interesting, though. I'll give them that. Bloody Shot. Blast Racing. But the thing is, the names don't ever match the actual game itself, so it doesn't matter. Look at this. I need like 4 different versions of Pugsley's Scavenger Hunt that I will never play anyways. Or Heroes of the Lance, the Japanese or the USA version. Or there's a better version too. Look at that. Or beta. I don't need any of this. I'll put my own stuff on there, thank you. So in the PlayStation, we got bins and we got images. There might be a few in here that I don't already have. I've only got a few. Well, there's not really many PlayStation ROMs here anyways. Most of the ones I want I've already downloaded. Adios muchachos. And then SFC, that's all Super Nintendo. Yeah, see, I really need a European, a French, German, Japanese, Spanish, USA Beta, and a USA Aladdin ROMs. I need 5 of those ROMs. Alien 3 Europe, Alien 3 Japan, Alien 3 USA Beta, Alien 3 right here. I don't even know which version that one is. Plus the other factor too is when I tried it earlier, all those games for the PlayStation were basically the same game over and over again. That sucks. We don't want that. Alright, so here's my games worth playing for the Atari 2600. So I'll just copy these over into the Atari folder here. So we'll go ahead and copy these 7800 games over. Oh, got a couple of demos in here too, but that's okay. They're small. There's really little reason to put Game Boy versions of a lot of these games on there because, you've already got better versions for like the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. Why do you need the Game Boy version? So really, the only thing you should be putting on there for Game Boy is games that you can't play anywhere else. Like King of Fighters 95. Why would I put that, the Game Boy version on there? Or Klax. Klax is a terrible version on the Game Boy because it's not even in color. Alright, how about some Game Boy Color games? Road Rash. Well, again, Road Rash you can get on the Genesis, and that's the best version. But this is a different version? I don't know. Monkey Puncher. You gotta have Monkey Puncher. Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. Some of these ROMs I didn't even know that I had. Grand Theft Auto 2 for the Game Boy. Okay, so MAME's going to be a little bit interesting because I have pretty much all of my MAME ROMs in this one folder, and it's the the .260 sets of the ROMs. A lot of times they work because they're just carried over from MAME version to MAME version, but sometimes they don't. So my way of doing this is to sort by the smallest first. And usually those older ROMs will work anyway. So like, Space Invaders, Missile Command, that kind of stuff. All that stuff pretty much works anyways with any kind of version of MAME. But like all these ROMs, I don't even know what they are half the time. MAME itself has all these categorized, so it knows which ROM goes with which game, but the way they name them, they're just hard to tell. Like here's Space INT. Is that Space Invaders? Let's get crazy. Let's just copy everything under a megabyte. Alright, now let's look at some of the bigger ROMs that I have and see if there's anything worth copying over. Tekken, Virtual Fighter, Guardians of the Hood. Here's Mortal Kombat 2. We'll just pull over all the revisions. Alright, so that should do it for the MAME ROMs, at least for now. How about some Genesis games? Ooh, let's see if Xenocrisis works. I have Xenocrisis. Sonic 3, Sonic 2, Sonic 1, Splatterhouse. And here's my collection of PlayStation 1 games. Now, I wonder how I'm going to have to do this. Just copy them straight over, because I don't know if the bin and the queues are required, but what the heck, I'll just copy both of them. Alright, so we got some PlayStation games on here. We'll see if any of these work. Alright, we got some Super Nintendo games on here. I guess it's time to take this bad boy back to the TV and see if it's any better now. I doubt it.
Alright, now that I got some new games on here, I'm actually going to try my Xbox 360 controller this time and see if it works better than those crappy PS2 wireless knockoff controllers that absolutely suck. Now, of course, it's USB, but the side of the device has the little USB right here. I'm going to yank that out of there. If I can get that out. There we go. And just plug my Xbox 360 right in there. Well, the Xbox 360 controller, so we'll see how it works now that I got it plugged in there. Huh, well, that sucks. Doesn't look like the Xbox 360 controller works at all. Dang it. Also, why do I still have King of Fighters 97 and all those other crappy ROMs on here showing? There must be some other setting I'm missing. All right, so I went ahead and put the regular crappy controllers back in here, and it does work, moving the controller, but I still am puzzled as to why I'm showing games that I didn't put on here. None of them do anything anyway, so let's switch over to the menu here. Go to Atari. And I'm still showing the same crappy set of games that were on here before, so it's not reading the games like I told it to. Great, so there's something else buried in here that's keeping this from working right. Alright, so I got this thing hooked back up to the computer, and let's take a look at some of these folders and see if there's anything jumping out at me. All these data settings here, this could be it. I wonder if I open this up in Notepad or something, if it would tell me something. It's using some kind of SQLite file. I probably have to edit these files as SQLite files, which kind of sucks because what if you just want to add more ROMs? I mean, the average person's not going to know how to do this. I mean, heck, I probably won't even be able to do this. Alright, so I found this SQLite viewer web app online, and I just dragged and dropped my file in there, and I get the Game Boy Advance games here, apparently. Actually, no, these are probably the PlayStation games, because there's Wipeout and Pepsi Man and stuff like that. But, I can't like edit anything. I can't make any changes. There's where the image is coming from, because we've got a column here over here for the image, the actual graphical image name. And then we got the long file name here, but then how does it know what ROM to pick? This must be the ROM name right here. I don't know, I'm so confused. But if I try to pick any of these other ROM files, these data files, it just doesn't work. Like this one says, file is not a database. Okay. Alright, so what is my opinion on this Game Stick Lite with 2.4 gig wireless controllers that look like PlayStation controllers that you have to use a dongle for? What is my opinion on this piece of crap? Well, to be perfectly honest, I thought that this might actually be pretty cool because it had, modern games on it and stuff. It could do PlayStation, you know, and Super Nintendo and Genesis and all that. I thought it'd be cool. I could just add some more games to it as I wanted. But apparently, no, you can't. You're pretty much locked in to the crappy game selection that they give you, and it's just, I mean, it's overwhelming the amount of games that they put on here, to the point of being not even useful. Not only that, but when you're playing with the controllers, and yeah, look at this, the back does not stay on the back of that controller. This is the one I had been using, and that just fell off too. Look at that. Jeez. You can't use a regular, you know, wired USB controller. You're pretty much locked into using these things. You can't add more games. You can't modify the games. You're stuck. You're stuck with this. My suggestion would be to not buy a piece of garbage like this, because if you thought you could update your games, you can't, and now you're stuck with a brick like I have. There's no way for me to modify the existing games on here. So basically, don't buy it.